Good morning, students. In last class, we discussed about the off-air rectifier and its operation and analysis of off-air rectifier by using the some of the parameters of off-air rectifier. So, in this off-air rectifier, we are having the some of the drawbacks that are the transformer utilization factor is just 0.286% or 0.286 or 28.6%. So, due to this, we are not fully utilizing the transformer. The second one, the efficiency of off-air rectifier is just 40.5%. So it is also very small. And third one, an important one, the ripple factor, it is 1.21. It indicates that the what are the output from the off-air rectifier having more ripples or AC components. Yes. So it is these three are the main drawbacks in the off-air rectifier. To overcome these three drawbacks, we are moving into the full-wave rectifier. Again, this full-wave rectifier is classified into two types. One is center tapped full-wave rectifier and the bridge rectifier. So first we will discuss about the center tapped full-wave rectifier. So here we are having the center tapped, so it is new term. So before going to that, so in off-wave rectifier we are using the normal step-down p junction diode. Yes. So in this normal step-down p junction diode, this primary winding and having N1 turns are more compared to the secondary winding N2. Here we are using the center tapped. This is the transfer named center tapped transformer. Yes. So in this center tapped transformer, secondary winding is divided into two halves. Yes. If primary winding has N1 turns and each half of secondary winding has N2 turns. Again, here there is a condition. It is N1 is greater than N2. Yes, this N2 value of the secondary winding turns is always greater than the is always small compared to the N1. Yes, so N1 is greater than N2. If primary winding has N1, secondary half of the secondary winding is N2. So N1 is greater than N2. This is the condition. Clear? So if the central terminal is grounded in the secondary winding, yes, it is divided into two parts. Whatever we divide in two parts, at center point of the secondary winding is connected to the ground, then upper secondary winding provides the voltage signal and lower secondary winding also provides the signals. So upper secondary winding output signal named as VA and lower secondary winding output signal as VB. So that ground terminal is connected in the center of the secondary winding. So the two signal magnitude is always same. VA equals to VB, but these two are in phase. These two are in out of phase. So 180 degree out of phase. Yes. So VA equals to VB, but phase shift is 180 degrees. Magnitude is same. VA equals to magnitude of VA equals to magnitude of VB, but phase shift between these two is 180 degrees. Yes. So we can say simply VA equals to minus VB or VB equals to minus VA. If I am assuming VA equals to Vm sin alpha, VA is nothing but upper secondary winding or signal is VA. If it is equals to Vm sin alpha, then secondary winding, lower secondary winding output signal VB equals to minus Vm sin alpha. So you can observe these VA and VB signals in this slide. Yes. So next, the center tap rectifier circuit diagram is in this slide. In this, you can observe the secondary winding of transformer. It is divided into two parts. The center point is connected to the ground. So upper secondary winding is signal is VA and lower secondary winding signal is VB. Yes. So we know it's VA and VB output signals. So now we are using in this two diodes D1 and D2 and one center tap transformer, and the two diode anodes are connected to the point A and point B of the transformer, second winding, and this load resistor is connected to the cathodes of diodes D1 and D2. So now we are considering the signal in the time period of 0 to 5 in case 1. So in this, VA is positive and VB is negative. So VA is positive, which is connected to the diode D1, so it is in forward bias, so it is short circuited and it is on state. And VB is negative, which is connected to the diode D2 at point B, so it is reverse bias and it is off state. Therefore we can say voltage drop across the load resistor V0 is always equals to the VA, the current flowing through the path of secondary winding VA to diode D1, then after load resistor. Yes, in this case V0 equals to VA. This resistor load RL is connected to the node A through diode D1. Therefore, we have PS across the RL. In second case, so it is time period of 5 to 25. So here VA is negative and VB is positive. So in this VA is negative, which is connected to the point A anode of diode D1. So diode D1 becomes reverse bias, it is off state. And VB is positive, which is connected to the point B, and it is anode of diode D2. So diode D2 is forward bias, it is on state. Therefore, the load resistance RL is connected to the node B or point B through diode D2. Therefore, VB appears across the RL. So V0 equals to VB. So we can observe the full wave rectifier is a combination of two half wave rectifiers. So you can observe the output waveform of this center tapped bridge rectifier. That means in this output you will get the two off cycles, positive off cycle, negative off cycle. Yes, so this positive and negative in this time period, total time period 0 to 25, we are applying positive and negative to the pure AC. The two are converted into the output. Yes, so in this output we can observe the two off cycles. So it is full wave rectifier. Clear? So next, analysis of full wave rectifier. In this analysis, first we should know the instantaneous output current or output voltage. Yes. So again, further we need to consider the two cases 0 to 5 and 5 to 25. In the 0 to 5 case, diode D1 is forward bias, D2 is reverse bias. By applying the KVL, we can write minus VA plus IRF plus IRL equals to 0. This RF is nothing but forward resistance offered by the diode D1. So from that we can say I equals to VA by RF plus RL. So we are considering VA equals to VM sin alpha and VM sin alpha by RF plus RL equals to IM sin alpha. And in the time period of 5 to 25, diode D1 is reverse bias, diode D2 is in forward bias. By applying the KVL, it is minus VB plus IRF plus IRL. From that we can write I equals to VB by RF plus RL. So VB equals to minus VA. So we can write minus VM sin alpha by RF plus RL. It is equals to minus IM sin alpha. Therefore we can write I equals to IM sin alpha in the time period of 0 to 5. I equals to minus IM sin alpha in the time period of 5 to 25. These two are the instantaneous our output currents. Similarly, if you want to write in terms of voltage, then it is equals to Vm sin alpha in the time period of 0 to 5 minus Vm sin alpha in the time period of 5 to 25. Simple. Yes. Now again we need to calculate the parameters of our full wave rectifier. Again we know that parameters are output DC current, RMS output current, RMS value of AC component, ripple factor, input power, efficiency, and DC output, DC diode voltage, and these are the parameters. So we the same formulas whatever we used in the half wave rectifier, we are using the same formulas here also, but here we are substituting these values. I equals to Im sin alpha in the time period of 0 to 5 and I equals to minus Im sin alpha in the time period of 5 to 25. So these two values in the formulas, you will get IDC in the full wave rectifier equals to 2M by 5. Yes, is nothing but average value of I. So we already know formula, it is equals to 1 by 2 5 0 to 2 5 id alpha. So instead of id alpha, 0 to 2 5 is divided into 0 to 5 and 5 to 2 5. So whatever we are getting instantaneous output current values that are substituted in the 0 to 5 and 5 to 2 5. By substituting, you will get 2m by 5. So each diode supplies average current Im by 5 to the load, hence net average current through the load becomes 2Im by 5. Yes. Similarly, RMS output current, by substituting the values, you will get Im by root 2, and RMS value of AC component in the output is equals to I dash RMS. So it is nothing but under root of I square RMS minus I square DC. So here RMS output value is Im by root 2. In previous, it is Im by 2. Clear? Now if you require Im by 2, it is Im by root 2. So the output shape changes, RMS value also changes. It is nothing but root mean square value. So for sinusoidal signal, it is Im by root 2, and this full wave rectifier also Im by root 2. If it is triangular, then it becomes Im by root 2. Yes, you can observe different waveforms and its RMS values. Factor, we already know it is the ratio of AC component present in the pulsating DC to the pure DC. Yes, this ripple factor is always indicates the how much AC component is present in the output. So it is nothing but I dash RMS by IDC. So we know I dash RMS equals to under root of I square RMS minus I square DC. Otherwise, you can say it is nothing but under root of form factors square minus 1. So by substituting all the values, you will get ripple factor equals to 0.483. Here you need to remember this 0.483 in the center tapped full wave rectifier, and half wave rectifier it is 1.21. So it is less than half of the 1.21. Yes, 0.483 is very small value compared to the half wave rectifier. So that means we overcome the drawback of half wave rectifier in the ripple factor parameter. Yes, in half wave rectifier we are having 1.21. Now it becomes 0.483. It's very small compared to the 1.21 value. Similarly, input power, it is Pi equals to I square RMS into RF plus RL. This is basic formula, you know. Yes. So here RF is the power resistance offered by the diode, and RL is the load resistor. And efficiency is nothing but PDC by PI. Yes. So this is I square DC into RL. PI is nothing but input power. So I square RMS into RF plus RL. By substituting all the values, you will get it is equals to efficiency equals to 81.2%. Yes, here when RF equals to 0, when we are considering the ideal diode, RF equals to 0, RL by RL cancel, the maximum efficiency can be achieved as 81.2 in the bridge rectifier, sorry, center tapped rectifier. So in half wave rectifier we are getting only 40.5, it is 81.2, it is doubled. Yes. In half wave rectifier we are getting only half of the cycle, we are rectifying only half of the cycle. Here we are rectifying the full cycle, so it is doubled, so it is 81.2. This is the maximum efficiency in the center tapped rectifier. DC diode voltage. Yes, here we are having the DC diode. Here we are having the two diodes in the center tapped rectifier. So I am saying this DC diode is nothing but how much DC voltage drop across the diode or each diode. That means we need to consider any one of the diode only, not two diodes. Yes, at a time. So now I am considering the diode D1. Yes, if I am considering diode D1, what are the drop across the diode D1? That same magnitude of drop will present in the diode D2 also. So this is the DC diode voltage. So consider diode D1 in this 0 to 5 time period. We know it is similar to same half wave rectifier only, but here we are having 2. We are calculating only at diode D1. So in the time period the time period 0 to 5, D1 is in forward bias. So we know voltage drop across the diode D1 is 0 because the forward resistance RF is very small. Yes, in the second case 5 to 2 5, diode D1 is reverse bias. We are not bothering about the diode D2. Yes, why? Because we consider only diode D1. So apply KVL in outer loop. Now diode D1 came written as V diode equals to minus VAB. Yes, why? Because here it is forward bias we are not considering, so total voltage equals to VAB in the secondary winding. So it is V diode equals to minus V diode equals to VAB. So we can write VAB equals to VA minus VB. So we know VA equals to VM sin alpha, VB equals to minus VM sin alpha, minus of minus plus, that becomes V diode equals to 2VM sin alpha. So voltage drop across diode D1 in the time period of 0 to 5 is 0. Voltage drop across diode D1 in the time period of 5 to 25 is 2VM sin alpha. From these two values we can calculate the average value or V diode DC value. It is nothing but 1 by 25025 V diode D alpha. By substituting these values we will get minus 2Vm by 5. In off-air rectifier, voltage drop across the diode as DC voltage as minus Vm by 5. Here it is minus 2Vm by 5. Clear? Now this is the DC voltage drop across the diode in the shunt adapter rectifier. Now DC voltage. We already know when load is open circuit. Clear? So it is IDC equals 0 or RL is infinite. By applying KVL, we can write it is minus V diode plus VDC, and it is similar to your previous only. So then we can write it is equals to Vm by 5. So this VDC is the maximum DC output voltage. Clear? So VDC next to full load DC output voltage. So this is nothing but when load is connected, otherwise when non-zero DC current is flowing through the circuit. So VDC FL equals to VDC at IDC non equals to 0. So it is nothing but IDC into RL. Yes. So here for off-air rectifier we have written VDC. So here we are having two off-air rectifiers. Why? Because it is centered top transformer and diode D1 and D2 are present. So one VDC1 equals to Vm by 5 minus Im by 5 RF plus. In previous we have written it is RSW, it is nothing but secondary winding, but here RSW by 2. Why? Because it is off of the second winding effect. And VDC2 equals to Vm by 5 minus Im by 5 into RF plus RSW by 2. This RSW is the second winding resistance. Clear? So net DC output is VDCFL equals to VDC1 plus VDC2. Then it is equals to 2Vm by 5 minus IDC into R. Same. So we already know 2Vm by 5 is the maximum DC. It is nothing but VDC NL. Clear? Otherwise you observe in the Thevenin sequence circuit here. So now factor. So we already know this rectification factor is nothing but change in the output voltage from no load to full load. Yes, it is nothing but VDCNL minus VDCFL by VDCFL. So by substituting the formula we will get same R by RL into 100. Yes, here R is the RF plus RSW by 2. Yes, RF is the forward resistance, RSW is the secondary winding, off of the secondary winding resistance. Next, peak inverse voltage. It's the maximum voltage drop across the diode when it is in reverse bias. Yes, so we know this peak inverse voltage is equals to V diode maximum. We already know V diode equals to 2Vm by sin alpha. The maximum equals to when alpha equals to 90. Then peak inverse voltage is 2Vm. Yes, here we are having the peak inverse voltage. After 2Vm of the voltage, the diode will enter into the breakdown region. Again, form factor is the ratio of RMS output to the DC output. From this we can get it is equals to 1.11. So here we are having the higher peak inverse voltage. This is the drawback in our full wave rectifier. Yes, so greater peak inverse voltage is the disadvantage because diode having greater breakdown voltage will be needed, which are costly. So when you are having the higher peak inverse voltage, so that kind of diodes are costlier. Yes, so here costly also matter in this circuit design. Of output, so here you can observe the time period of output waveform is T0 by 2. Frequency of output will be 2 times of frequency of a signal. So we can say ripple frequency or output signal frequency equals to 2f0. Why? Because time period is T0 by 2. Clear? So it is also non-sinusoidal signals, therefore it has harmonic frequencies, so which are known as Fourier series representation of output waveform. So it is represented as V naught equals to 2 Vm by phi minus 4 Vm by phi sigma k is k is even cos k omega naught t by k plus 1 into k minus 1. As k is even, by substituting k equals to 2, it is 2 omega naught, k equals to 4, it is 4 omega naught, again 6 omega naught. So here we are having the only 2 Vm by phi is the DC, and the remaining 4 Vm by phi sigma cos k omega naught by k plus 1 into k minus 1. The term indicates the AC component. So in this expression we are not having odd harmonics, only even frequencies or even harmonics. So this AC component has only even harmonics, that are 2 omega naught, 4 omega naught, 6 omega naught. So fundamental frequency omega naught is present in the AC component of FWR. Why? Because if I am applying the A signal is Vm sin omega naught t. So the fundamental frequency is omega naught. In this output signal we don't have any fundamental frequency omega naught term. Yes. So this absence of omega naught is advantage, because the filtering of AC component is very easy. Yes. So the unwanted frequencies or harmonics in our output signal can be eliminated by using the our filter circuits. Yes. So these filters will discuss in the next. So factor. So it is always indicated the how much we are utilizing the transformer output. So it is again combination of two of rectifiers. Yes. So because this transformer second row winding is divided into two parts, so it is combination of two of rectifiers. So this whatever we are found the transformer utilization factor TUF, it is 2 times. So transformer utilization factor in the center tap rectifier is 2 times of off wave TUF value. It is equals to 0.286 into 2. Yes. Otherwise you can calculate, it is PDC by PSC. Clear? So here transformer utilization factor, it is 0.286 into 2 value equals to 0.57. It's 0.7. So here TUF primary winding is 0.81 into RL by RF plus RL. Here SW equals to secondary winding, PW equals to primary winding. So average TUF can be calculated. So these may helpful in your numericals. So transformer utilization factor is generally calculated for only secondary winding only. It is 0.57. Here for primary winding it is 0.81 into RL by RL plus RL. Yes. So it is average TUF can be calculated secondary winding plus primary winding by 2. It is 0.69. And next, center tap rectifier. So what are the drawbacks in off rectifier? That are efficiency, ripple factor, TUF. The three are improved in our center tap rectifier. Yes. And the DC output voltage and current is also improved in our center tap rectifier. What are the drawbacks? If there is any drawbacks in our center tap rectifier, then only we will move into the bridge rectifier. For that, we will identify the drawbacks. So here higher peak inverse voltage. When we are having the higher peak inverse voltage, the diode cost is also increases. So here this higher peak inverse voltage diode cost is very high. So in this center tap rectifier, we are having the peak inverse voltage of each diode is 2 Vm. Yes, it is the drawback. Yes, when peak inverse voltage increases, the diode cost increases, then circuit cost increases. Yes, so it is also one of the disadvantage. And one more, here we are using the center taproot transformer. To making the center taproot transformer is difficult, and it is big in size, and the costly of the transformer is also compared to the normal step-down transformer. So these two are the two disadvantages in this center tap rectifier. Yes, that are higher peak inverse voltage, and here we are using the center tap transformer. Yes, using center tap transformer is nothing but making a center tap transformer is difficult, and the size of the center tap transformer is large, and cost is also more. So these are the disadvantages of center tap transformers. So to avoid these two drawbacks in the center tap transformer full wave rectifier, we are moving into the bridge rectifier. So we'll discuss in next class. Thank you.